Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. You can be live on Twitch and YouTube as well. Well, you know, I shouldn't have said that. I don't want you competing with us. Just come and watch us. Because you may be better than us, and I don't need that. Because there's a lot of people that are better than us. I don't need any of that.
Yeah,
if you just come and watch.
If you want to watch the live videos or see the videos, either twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live.
Yes.
Or Tom and Dan Live on YouTube Live.
Yes, sir. Man, you got that right. You nailed it.
So we've got some guests in studio on the couch.
Two of our favorites, I would say.
Yeah, Jeff and Dino Jimmy are here. How you guys doing?
Very good to see you.
What's
guys.
up, everybody?
Good to see you.
The Orlando Science Center, of course, there's a dinosaur a weekend going on this weekend.
Yes.
So, Jeff, let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, Tom. It's called the Paleontology Party. It's December 14th and 15th. We are going to have some awesome guest experts like our friend Jimmy here. Going to do some really cool presentations, lots of fossils, and we've got Savannah from Gatorland coming out.
Oh, awesome. We just saw her this weekend.
Yeah, talking about gators and crocodiles and the similar habitats between them and
Did you
dinosaurs.
get my? You must have gotten my show notes because I have a question that goes directly from Savannah to Mike from Gatorland to Dino Jimmy.
No, really?
Like it's the only question I wrote down to ask.
We're plugged in.
Yeah,
That's all I got to
you're
tell
killing
you.
it, dude.
Yes.
Gator teeth. Not to jump right into it, but I learned this weekend that gator's teeth, because I saw a gator and it had a tooth growing out of the side of its head.
Yeah.
And when they're knocking their brains around and fighting for domination and getting chicken and stuff, right? Just like dinosaurs, some of those teeth get misplaced or knocked around, and then they grow weird.
Yeah, they grow through the gator's mouth.
Yeah, and then I learned that the gator's teeth are kind of like Dixie cups where they'll just like keep coming out. Are dino teeth like gator teeth, or are we talking different teeth?
They are similar in a couple of different and very important ways. So dinosaurs, much like alligators and much like sharks, continually grew their teeth throughout their life because they needed those on a daily basis.
Gotcha.
And we only get our two sets as mammals and human beings. We only get our baby teeth, and then everything else we got to order on the internet.
Oh, we need more on Florida, by the way.
Oh my God. Our listeners, holy smokes!
We got a few.
You could dig for their fossils all around. If you could just dig for our listeners' teeth.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. There's plenty of teeth to go around in the dinosaur hunting field, and so when you look at a gator's tooth, you can see the kind of diet that it has because their teeth are they're little cone shaped, but they've also got these grooves on them. So that way when they're biting down into something, they hold a good grip on it, and then they go into that death roll and they spin around and tear all the meat off. Some dinosaurs have very similar kinds of grooves. Like one, for example, Spinosaurus.
All right.
Spinosaurus was this huge carnivore that lived in what is now Morocco and North Africa.
We were just talking about Morocco. Jenna Hurt spends all her time in Morocco.
Morocco, it's one of those places on my bucket list. I want to get out there.
I got a lady.
Let's do it.
I can get you there, dude. What if we took Dino Jimmy and Jenna Hurt to Morocco and took our listeners?
Are they still finding fossils in Morocco?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. In fact, we're learning a lot more about Spinosaurus in the last few years because of the new discoveries we're able to make. There's a movie that I'm in called Why Dinosaurs that we actually cover the recent discoveries of Spinosaurus's big paddle-like tail pretty much at length, and that'll be something I'll be happy to come back and talk about.
No, he
more
said
about
he was
that
in
too.
a movie to knock you down a peg.
No,
I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
And I saw in your
well,
eyes,
he
you're
knows
like,
more.
Yeah, he does. He does. This guy's got the goods, man.
And then back to the Science Center, because there's also Dinos and Lights going on now through January 6th.
I love it.
And that happens every 30 minutes from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And basically, Jeff, it's a light extravaganza all around the dinosaur fossils.
Yeah.
And
you take lights, you take dinos, we smash it together. It's like taking two of, like, even me. I was gonna say children's like favorite things in the world, but I'll just say me. You take two of my favorite things, Christmas lights and dinosaurs. You smush them together.
Yeah. And that's how we got a beloved holiday tradition. We've been doing Dinos and Lights for a few years now. We do it every holiday season. It really kind of inspired doing the Paleo Party in December as well, so we could include Dinos and Lights in that. We've got these awesome guests like Jimmy and Savannah. We've got some amazing fossil displays. We've got a cool giant screen movie called Dinosaurs Alive, which does some really cool computer animation to bring dinosaurs back to life for us. So this weekend, all about dinosaurs, but Dinos and Lights, really awesome. Great holiday music tied in with
cool.
Dinosaurs and Lights. A different song every 30 minutes. A lot of fun, and that's playing throughout the holidays.
Can I tell you, I absolutely love Dinos and Lights. I've seen it. It's something that they do. They get better and better every single year. Can you look at how like all these houses online are competing for the wildest and the craziest house displays, and they're all going to be second place in my book because not one of them incorporates a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The Science Center has a lit up, music synced T-Rex.
Can I tell you why I love this? I may have said this last year, or like when Jeff, you may have heard this, but I'm going to tell you why I love this.
Yeah.
And I know Tom knows the answer to this. I like it when we take things that are super serious and super expensive and rare, and then we do weird things to them, like wrapping them in cheap-ass Christmas lights. That's my favorite thing. Like, I like
coolest.
taking things that mean everything to the world and then making them a little more dumb. And I think that makes it more fun. I just think it's, like, there's nothing better than taking, like, our Tyrannosaurus. We're very lucky to have that T-Rex here in Orlando.
Very much so.
Let's wrap it in lights. That's what I say, man.
It's the coolest stuff.
I say bringing a little bit of the holiday spirit to things.
Yes.
But, you know, tomato.
Sure, that's true.
Wrap it in
Well,
lights.
you're more of a normal, more of a normal, good citizen. You know.
You mentioned a dinosaur movie that you guys are playing. Maybe you'll think about playing the 1990s sitcom Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Yes. Love the mama.
It's so sad.
It's not the mama.
Not the mama.
You were close.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Jimmy's got a dead on. Like
Which-
you could be the baby.
Which may be one
One
of
more
the,
childhood dream to knock off the
Do
list.
you own all the stuff? Is that should I not be asking that? Is that an
No.
embarrassing question?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But that's been really cool to see that a lot of the the original props and puppets from the Dinosaurs TV show are making their way. Like some of them are showing up on like eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and now you can get the figures at like Target. They're there now.
The
and it's
show
really cool.
is hotter than it was when it was on TV.
Jimmy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dinosaurs, the 90s sitcom,
Yeah.
the premise of that was that the meteor didn't hit. I think this was the premise. And the dinosaurs evolved to get smarter and smarter until they basically started having normal lives like us.
Right.
miserable,
Didn't they
go
destroy
to
the
work.
world, or- Yeah.
And the meteor came at the end.
it came back,
But
They had a different, they explored a different extinction theory, for sure.
So I'm sure there's paleontologists, there's scientists that have theorized what the world would have been if the meteor didn't cause the dinosaurs to become extinct. Would they have become smarter to a point where, I know evolution doesn't necessarily work like that. It kind of works for you to live, not necessarily to get smart. But do you think dinosaurs would have reached a point where they're ultra smart?
I don't know if we would have reached honeymooners without pants level of
That's a great
evolutionary
thing. You know what?
science.
I knew everything you were saying when you said that. So I appreciate you bringing it down to my level.
No, it's
To
one of
the
those things.
moon, Alice.
No, so yeah, it's important to understand as well that evolution is a verb. You know, science is a verb. It's not a noun. It's not just a thing that happens. It's a process of how animals change and adapt to their environments over time. And so, yeah, we see that dinosaurs were able to continue even throughout the three periods we had them. So the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. In the Triassic, everybody looked the same. They were all long tail, long neck. You know,
Wait a minute. What are the periods again?
Triassic.
I feel like you just named like George Foreman's son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the George period,
Yeah.
we got the George period, and then we got the George
9
period.
different George periods. Yeah.
No, the Triassic was named because they found 3 different kinds of minerals when they first identified it. So yeah, we're going to call this. The Jurassic is when dinosaurs got at some of their biggest. So that's when we got the really big ones like Apatosaurus and Brachiosaurus and cool things like that. And then the Cretaceous, which is when they had a lot of chalky layers.
That would
and
be
things.
my name. My name's Cretaceous, baby. Cretaceous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
And so that's when we have like the most diverse dinosaurs. So even over the course of the time that they were there, they were evolving new traits to survive in their environment, adapt to some of the different changes that we have there. And so remember that not all the dinosaurs actually went extinct. The big ones that we think of, when you picture a dinosaur in your head, a lot of those guys are gone. But like the raptors, the Deinonychus, like my friend Poe that you're going to get a chance to meet. I'm going to bring a live dinosaur to the Science Center this weekend so you can meet my friend Poe. She was at the beer fest.
Yes,
She was at the beer fest.
It's the dinosaur with feathers on.
Covered in feathers.
It's one of the cooler things that I think you've ever done for us and our listeners is bring out some of your contraptions, and this thing is awesome, dude.
Poe is going to be so cool. You definitely want to come and get a
You
chance
get a
to
photo?
meet her.
You get a photo
Of course
with
we
her?
could take photos with her.
That'd
Absolutely.
be cool. That'd be cool.
But yeah, she's covered in feathers because the modern day dinosaur descendants. had learned how to, they grew feathers to be faster to catch their prey. And then some of their prey was like, well, I'm going to be faster too. And then I'm going to learn to climb trees. Now I'm going to learn how to jump. So I'm going to jump after you, but I'm not going to come down. And now we have flying birds.
Whoa. All right. That was a very simple way of explaining
Right?
it. But yeah, that makes
Adapting to the environment.
Dig
It's
it, yeah.
circumstances.
Jimmy, you think like I have a hard time, and I think every human being does when you're.
He's got some stomach problems.
no.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
That's an overshare.
Yeah, it was.
When you're looking at time in
Yeah.
millions of years,
Yeah.
because you can't comprehend it, right? So
True.
that's why I think a lot of people don't believe in dinosaurs or think that like, oh, there are 3,000 years. They don't understand what a million years or even 100,000 years even is, and people have the
God, I
misconception.
can't even do a decade.
No, I don't think. Yeah. People have the misconception that all the dinosaurs died after the meteor, and then it's like no, not all of them, and the rest of them just evolved into like you said, birds and stuff.
Well,
so they were,
the chat room is saying, I'm convinced sandhill cranes are dinosaurs. Have you
Yes, they
ever
are.
heard them?
No, that is a fact. Sandhill cranes are in fact dinosaurs. Yes, they are.
There you go.
Boom.
Proven. So you can go to your husband and tell him, hey, that's a dinosaur. And he'll say no. And then you can look it up and
I'll give you-
make him do something for you.
And I'm going to back that up for you here too.
Oh,
because
he's got
in
props.
addition, Dan, always I brought,
Man,
I
you
brought
always
3
have
shopping
a
bags with the
bag
stuff.
of fun stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
So I brought here with me, this is a foot of a modern day dinosaur. So this is actually a cast of a living creature that has 3 sharp clawed toes and 1 really nasty looking sickle foot right here at the end. Look at this
That's a
thing.
knife toe, dude.
Yeah, I'm telling
It
you.
looks like Soul Brother Kevin's feet. That's an old school joke. That's an old school joke.
Compare that. This is the foot of a velociraptor.
Can I hold that?
Yeah, of course. And pass this around. So that's the velociraptor foot, and that's the same thing. It's got those 3 sharp claws, including the 1 big nasty
The
claw on the inner
killing
toe.
claw,
The
man.
killing claw. And so the killing claw on this creature.
Look at that thing.
Yeah. So you got the raptor on Dan's camera, and you got the cassowary here on my picture. So this is the foot of a cassowary.
What
if
is
you guys,
that?
The cassowary is picture like an emu, but extra mad. So
Okay,
like
a
this
mad
is
emu?
So a cassowary is a
Yes.
creature. Here you go. Check this out. So cassowary is a creature that is it's a bird. It's covered in black feathers that are kind of like bristly. It has a long neck with like a red wattle on the side, like a turkey. But it's got a blue face. It's got a big crest on top of its head, and it's one of the only dinosaurs, the only birds, with a confirmed human kill count. They have actually killed humans in the past. So when people say,
You
"What's the
knew
scariest
I wanted
dinosaur?"
to go gory today. You knew I did.
No, we always bring it.
This thing's got a body count. I love
It's got
it.
a body count. It's the deadliest dinosaur out there. It's the only dinosaur that's actually killed humans. So
Oh, and then they got you with that claw,
Yeah.
and then it got your belly,
Yeah.
which is the worst.
And then you just
Yeah.
spilled out onto the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah.
the point is, you're alive when they
You
start
know,
to peck at you.
I have seen some men that like to drink mead and wear bracers, or bikers that have claws like that. They'll wear like a ring,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
yeah,
killing
yeah.
ring on there. You know, who would have known that dinosaurs like were able to, like.
But those things are still alive now. Like those,
Where
you
can
can
I-
see those in zoos. I know the Central Florida Zoo, I believe, has a couple. I know the St. Augustine Gator Farm up there has some. I believe there's one at Gatorland too. But I mean, there's a couple places where you can see these things, and they are absolutely beautiful creatures.
That's dope.
As long as you're on the right side of the fence.
Right. So, like,
it-
if you made them mad and then they got at you, that's just not a good day.
Now you don't have to outrun the cassowary. You just could be faster than the people that you're with.
I love
And
that.
you know what's interesting is based on the fossil, their feet haven't evolved that much. It looks exactly the
Yeah,
same.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could have told me that
Yeah.
it was a prop from Jurassic Park, and I would be like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, sure."
100%.
and so it's like
How strong would they be? Like as strong as how tall are we talking again?
So a cassowary can be about between 5 and 7 feet tall.
So bigger than me. Like one of these things that kick my ass.
but the dinosaur version was way bigger or around the same
a
size.
yeah, that's a great
Velociraptor,
question.
for example. I mean, in Jurassic Park, they talk about it being 6-foot turkeys. But I'm going to have a cast of one of these. You can see this, and you'll actually see the skull of Velociraptor. You can see them at the paleontology party at the Science Center this weekend, and you'll see that raptors are actually turkey-sized turkeys. And my buddy Steve is going to be there as well from Paleoanalysis. He's bringing a Utah raptor skull, which is bigger than the ones from Jurassic Park. So this is a creature that would absolutely, it's it's a raptor skull that's about as big as my Tyrannosaur skull here too. So like it's a wild creature.
So they were all different. They had different regional sizes.
They filled in so many different ecological roles that they were all different sizes because that's what their environment
Sounds
called
a
for.
lot like humans, right?
Exactly.
Like we're all different sizes, but we're all very much the same and similar. Oh
That's
wow,
right.
this is wild.
Jimmy,
If you gore me, do I not bleed?
Man, every time you come in here, I learn something new. The chat room is already talking about it.
I love
Dinos
it.
and Lights, guys. Again, this is what we're here
Yeah.
to promote. You want
and
to
the
get
paleontology party this
Yep.
weekend.
I'm going to make a bold statement.
Yeah.
If you look at any of our clients, especially the ones like the Science Center, we have the greatest family things for you to do of any show in like in Florida
Yeah.
at least. Nobody
Yeah.
beats us. We have the greatest places for you to take your family.
So,
Absolutely.
Jimmy, I'm curious of your opinion on movies because they're good and they're bad, and I'll explain.
Think of The
because
Shape of Water.
well, no.
Think of that.
It's a
It
long
was gross.
question.
I thought.
I think that is the most wonderful rom-com retelling of the creature from the Black Lagoon
Yeah.
in modern cinema.
Exactly.
I'm
Everything is stolen.
I'm going to reference another scientist,
Bring it.
or maybe Neil.
The guy from Sonic, Jim Carrey.
I saw.
Eggman. Oh, he's going to mention Eggman again.
I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about ever since Dark Side of the Moon came out, the album and the
Yeah.
song, that he's been explaining that there is no dark side of the moon. The moon actually rotates. It's one day on the moon is 30 days long here.
Disrespectful to Pink Floyd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, leave him alone.
And
Don't get me started on prisms.
okay. So, but what's funny about that is because we've heard it became so popular, Dark Side of the Moon. The entire world just thinks, oh yeah, the moon doesn't rotate. It's just there's one dark side of it.
It's one of the first accurate pieces of misinformation that we can trace, right?
And then because of Jurassic Park, which we all saw as well,
Yep.
we think raptors were bigger than they are.
Yeah.
Although Jurassic Park made people fall in love with dinosaurs, but there's misinformation in it.
Well,
so-
that's why I always confirm with you. I don't know if you've noticed this, but every time you've been in here, I think I ask you what size a raptor was just to reinforce it to myself and to the public.
And you know what? I will tell you every single time because that is what it means to be a science communicator. You are here to tell people. I will answer that question over and over again. I love it. Not all dinosaurs were gigantic. Not all dinosaurs were huge. And to prove it, I brought a whole dinosaur with me today.
Yes. Oh my God, he brought the Daniel dinosaur.
So this right here, filling in the entire screen, this is a lovely creature called Psittacosaurus.
Psittacosaurus.
Psittacosaurus starts with a P.
Why'd they do that, Jimmy?
Oh, Tom hates that. Oh, he's already out. He's already out.
I got you. Just throw
Starts
this up.
with a P.
He hates silent
Dude,
letters.
oh,
Oh
This
my
is the
God.
What's
Psittacosaurus.
the point of them? They're
Yeah.
just confusing the
Well,
dodos.
First of all, that's a super gorgeous specimen.
Thank you.
I can't help but look at its face and think parrot.
That's why that's why it has that name. The parrot-faced lizard.
Look at
And
that.
the scientific
I'm a
name of
paleontologist.
parrots is like Psittaco, that sort of thing. So that Psitt is like it's when we talk about parrot-like things. So this creature has a parrot-like face, and so this is the parrot dino.
Oh, that thing would snap your hand off. It looks like your birds scare me some, or not yours, but your bird adjacent. And those things are
They are like dinosaurs.
They go though, right? Like they can bite you.
So were these dinosaurs like hunting packs? Like we say again,
Oh, a
misinformation
pack of these
Jurassic
against
Park.
me. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
So they're herbivores, first off, which is really good to know.
Oh, thank God.
They lived in groups. They lived in family groups. We have actually found. They went so crazy. We've actually found specimens of 34 babies, like fresh hatchling babies, with one 6-year-old adult that wasn't their parent. So we've had evidence that
God,
these
he's a
guys
pedophile.
were.
That's a babysitter.
I'm gonna say babysitters.
Oh, okay, thank you, Jeff. Jeff, see, we're always
Inside you are two
we're always
wolves.
It's always the yin and yang here.
Daniel, inside of you are
That's
two
why
wolves.
we're here.
I may be a bit negative, Jeff.
No, it's
I will
all right.
So
admit.
that's
We
that's
balance each other.
We do.
That's interesting because a lot of other animals don't do that. Take care of young that are not theirs, right?
A lot of dinosaurs did.
I
Lots
wouldn't
of
do
different
it.
dinosaurs actually had familiar groups. They did group nesting, where multiple nests in one space for these things to all kind of hatch together and keep out.
That's
Socialist.
kind of like bird behavior too, because like
Yes.
penguins do that.
Yes,
or
they
like
do.
the male
Oh, yeah.
penguin will take care of the eggs, which
Yeah.
is weird in the animal world, right?
Now, I know you guys are going to love this dinosaur, not only because it's so cool and you can see the entire thing here.
It's crazy that you have a full dinosaur, dude. I've never
Isn't that
seen
wild?
a complete.
It's all right here.
That's wild.
And we also know what they look like, what color they were, what their skin texture was like. We know color. We know the color of the dinosaur. This is
How
actually
do
what
we
a
know?
living Psittacosaurus looked like because we found one completely mummified
What?
with some of the stomach
Look
content,
at
with
this
some
thing.
of the guts involved. And we also found out what its butt looks like.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because I was on the scene. Dr. Dan, paleontologist.
So this-
I'm on the scene for the first 5 seconds. What do we got here? We got a dinosaur. What's his butt look like? Give me the numbers.
So the Psittacosaurus that we discovered, one that's completely mummified. We found the skin impressions. We were able to use lasers to figure out the texture and the color patterns of the skin. And we also found out that it has a single opening called a cloaca.
Like
and
a
so,
bird.
Oh, that's a
like
chicken
birds.
ass.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well,
And-
I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Dan. But yeah, it's a chicken butt.
But they have this one opening for all the things that they would need to do. And so when they grow up, their reproductive organs are in there, their excretory stuff. So the way they go to the bathroom, the
I
way they
think
make
it's,
babies, the
we've
way they lay
argued
eggs.
on this show before that it's a better way because it's convenient.
Yeah.
Everything one-stop shop.
Yeah, and it seems
With a pee, poop, and egg drop.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah,
like
yeah.
how birds were like evolved is because they're so old that like they're more efficient now even than other species maybe because they've been around so long. But I guess
Yeah.
there's other species that have been around just as long, like crocodiles and alligators and stuff were around as well, and they just didn't change as much.
That's right, yeah. So gators and crocodilians and creatures like that, like the Gavialsuchus, which is a huge 20-foot alligator ancestor that you'll see at the Science Center. Aiden from Florida Fossilized
God,
is
you guys
bringing
have
the
so
entire
much stuff
skeleton.
out there, man. This is
Oh,
going to be
it's gonna-
awesome.
it's
It's
gonna be huge. It's
This
gonna
is
be
the
an
best
awesome
weekend for
weekend.
anyone who's ever had a favorite dinosaur. This is the time you want to come to the Science Center, along with every other day.
Well,
but like this is gonna be a good time to see
we
it.
certainly apprate you guys trying to add more and more to it every single time.
Of course.
It gets bigger and better every year.
What was that other fossil that you had, Jimmy, when that you were
Yeah,
going
do
to
you
show
want me
us?
to-
Yeah, but real quick, Tom, guess what?
What?
Taco butt.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I like that. Get him with a dinosaur dad joke right to his face. He deserves that. Take that. You're laughing. You're smiling. You're smiling.
No, this is why we do this because dinosaurs will always be awesome.
Yeah,
That's
they're
true. All right,
super
so
fun.
here's this is an actual fossil that I dug up in Wyoming, and we want to talk about the length of time that it takes for a dinosaur to become a skeleton, and then for that skeleton to become rock and fossil. We can see evidence of that right here. So this is super heavy, but this is part of the limb bone. So this is part of the femur of a long-necked dinosaur. Now, what I really like about this, when we find these things, you can see that the color of this, for those of you who can't see it, the color of this bone is like a deep brownish black, right? But it's also got this orange stuff all throughout it. The sand and the dirt where we found this is much brighter tan color. So we can see that the color of the specimen and the minerals itself, it is heavy, right?
Yeah. This thing is like extremely dense.
Yeah. It's super dense. Yeah. So it's the color of the fossil picks up the minerals around it, but it's different from the color of most of the minerals around it. So a lot of that dirt still stays that one color. But where does that orange stuff come from? None of the minerals around were orange.
It's really heavy, right?
Yeah.
It's like a big rock.
I mean,
It
but,
is-
but for what it is, size-wise, it's heavier than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the orange is on the inside. So when you think about what the purpose of a bone of this size is, that's all the bone marrow. And the purpose of your bone marrow is to produce blood
Sure.
cells for the rest of the body.
Extremely important. Yeah.
So, and what is our blood made of? We got this red stuff. Our blood is red because we have hemoglobin in it, which has a lot of iron in the blood. So what's the orange stuff?
It's iron.
It's rusty iron. That's rusty dinosaur blood inside of that fossil right there.
Wow.
So all the
Yo.
blood has turned into the mineralized mineralized iron and that rusty iron oxide that there with it. Isn't that cool?
That's extremely cool.
It makes it so much cooler once you know what it is.
Yes.
Because I would kick this rock and it'd never look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I would definitely, in my younger years, I would have thrown that at a gas station window or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like once you realize, you're like, oh my God, this is dinosaur blood
Well,
in
that's
this
like
rock?
It's rusty dino blood.
That's
what it is.
insane.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah,
but
that
it
is
takes
wild.
so long for the individual pieces to get replaced one cell
old
at a
is
time.
that?
This is from the Jurassic period, so that's 156 million years old.
That's what I needed
just
to hear.
casually,
Yeah, that's
just
the
roll it.
punchline. When you hear that, it's like, what?
Yeah, give or take a Thursday.
Again, a number we cannot comprehend.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
our calendar is in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like,
And
we're-
it's weird to touch that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very weird. Yeah. So again, guys, if you're thinking of something to do with your family for the holidays, this is what you want to line up.
Jimmy,
Absolutely.
I saw a story. I wanted to ask you about it as soon as I saw it, and it was about the most expensive fossil ever sold.
Yes.
And it just broke the record.
Breaking news.
It was a Stegosaurus named Apex, and it sold for $45 million at the what's that super popular
The Sotheby's.
Sotheby's auction.
Quick, just side note: the
Applebee's.
chat room is asking you to change your name to. They want you to change your name to Rusty Dino Blood.
Rusty Dino
Yeah, I think that would be a good action adventure hero name to Rusty Dino Blood. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
I gotta start wearing fedoras after that. I don't know.
It's like
We'll
an
come
Indiana
back.
Jones vibe. Yeah,
And I think you sing all your own country music.
I like that. Yeah.
So
Back to Apex.
And so it was or like I guess the most complete Stegosaurus fossil that they have. It's amazing, by the way, if you look at the pictures of it. And a billionaire hedge fund guy bought it, and now has donated it to the Museum of Natural History for people to see. And when I saw that, I'm like, is his motivation basically charitable in the fact that he's like, I'm going to buy this for the United States Museum, and that's my contribution to society?
So it like
What
stays here.
are these guys' motivation?
Yeah,
Jamie,
have you
when they
met
buy
these people or like interacted with any of these people that purchase huge fossils?
I've traveled in certain circles with them. You know,
Yeah.
in paleontology, you've got a couple of different groups of people, and some folks who are very much in the Indiana Jones vibe of it belongs in a museum, and then other folks who are like, this is a precious thing, and I can find money out of this. You know, I'm kind of more in the museum side of things, but I appreciate that there's got to be a balance, and so you've got some folks who, if they can find gold in them thar hills, and that drives people to go out and want to pursue things, because a lot of amateur paleontologists are where we find some of our newest and most exciting discoveries. Now, Apex here, the billionaire who won the auction is a guy named Griffin. He actually lives in Florida.
Oh, really?
And so Apex is on loan to the Museum of Natural to the AMNH in New York for about 4 years. And after that, we don't know where it's going to go next. So from the paleontology side, we're very excited it gets to be in a museum, but we're not sure how much we can study off of it. This is a very complete Stegosaurus. It has more Stegosaurus parts and pieces than any other specimen we've found so far. We have so much we can learn.
Yeah.
But if we can't study it for a long term to make those comparisons, we can't be sure. And there's a couple of rules that we have to follow in scientific studies where I have to be able to go back in 10 years, 15 years, and check your work to make sure that your stuff still holds up. So if Apex is
Like
on
a review
display-
of some sort.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
always be able to go back, dust off the old thing, and make sure that your science still holds up today. And that's how science continually reviews itself.
My mom never did that, by the way.
yeah.
She believed one science,
Yeah,
died with
yeah.
the same science in her brain.
I like a one and done type science. Whatever
Yeah.
you discovered hundreds of
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
I still believe.
There
it.
are, I mean, dare I say, millions of Spanish grandmas that think Vicks will cure everything in the world, and it's just not science. It's not.
All the dinosaurs were
Chiropractors,
green
I'm
and they
looking
lived
at
in the
you.
water.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Stegosaurus, let's talk about that. That's an herbivore.
Yes.
And it kind of similar to a tortoise in the fact that the spikes were for a defense mechanism against other predators, right? Or
So
something?
we're still not 1,000% sure what the plates are there for. What we do know is that the plates are covered in a bit of keratin, the same as like our fingernails and hair. I know this because I actually was working in a prep lab in Wyoming a few years back, and we had a section of a Stegosaurus where the plate had folded over and kind of trapped things underneath. When we popped the plate off, we saw the skin impressions and we saw the preserved keratin on the insides. We're like, okay, Stegosaurus plates were in fact covered in this keratin material. They weren't covered in flesh. They may have been able to flush with blood and light up. And like in Walking with Dinosaurs, they had the plates were able to change colors and get really bright red to help scare up a predator. Still a possibility. We don't know for sure yet. But having a specimen like Apex would allow us to explore some of those things and discover things more closely related. The problem is that if we have a 4-year shelf life on that research, and if after the 4 years comes, Apex decides to go back to this guy's mansion in Clearwater, then none of that research counts anymore because I can't check it.
We got to steal
We
it.
can't
We
verify.
got to steal it. I can get you crew.
Get Nicolas Cage on the phone right
we
now.
Can do,
He's a huge dinosaur fan. He'll do it for free.
We can do something I like to call Big Fat Ocean's 11. And it's me and a ragtag team, or it's very much like what's that movie, The Uncrustables? No, the movie with
Expendables?
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
The Uncrustables.
The animated version was the Uncrustables.
Ocean
Good at
65
lunchtime.
Yeah,
million.
it's like the Daniel presents The Uncrustables.
So what's weird about this is it seems like these fossils shouldn't be private. It seems like they should be.
It does feel a little gross and weird, right?
like the world's information.
Yeah, I'm playing
for
the Indiana
humanity.
Jones game,
Yeah.
the new Indiana Jones
Yes.
game. And the first thing you do in the Indiana Jones game is
Not teach a class.
a religious man that's like 9 foot tall, a Catholic man from another world, breaks in your museum and he stole my GD cat mummy that I got in Marrakesh. I got him in Marrakesh. So now I got to get all my stuff and pack up my suitcase and my whip and go track down my cat mummy.
So if this
Give it a
person,
shot. It's a good game.
if this
Yeah.
person moves the fossil to his, like you said, living room in Clearwater, then no one can study it anymore. Or they'd be like, you can come to my house, but don't make a mess. And now you're not in a, no scientific setting, and it becomes way harder to get information.
So part of the rules are that if I want to be able to continue the study, I have to be able to go and see it in a museum anytime I want to without needing to make an appointment. So if it's in someone's private house, I can't just walk in and be like, hi, I'm coming. I'm visiting
Right.
from the University of Bonn, and I got to check out your stego. And it's like, we're having dinner right now?
Yeah.
So now's not a good time.
Never thought about that, man.
Yeah.
So of course, the Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil stand
Yes.
was the
was the previous big
the
one.
previous biggest one at 31 million.
That's my boy right here.
And we all know
There he is,
what
right
a
on-
Tyrannosaurus
right on the
Rex is.
arm.
But I'm curious. Then the next one down is a fossil named Hector, and it's Dino
Deinonychus.
Deinonychus.
Dino Deinonychus. I think my mom and dad saw him in Vegas.
Hard
Between
for
the hours
me
of
to-
12 and 6.
My uncle was a trumpet player in Vegas.
Yeah?
One of my great uncle. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he played first trumpet for Dino Deinonychus.
I wasn't born to be a paleontologist because I can't pronounce the dinosaur's name.
yeah. Just call it the big one.
So what kind of dinosaur was that?
That's the same kind of dinosaur that Poe is.
Oh, okay.
Poe is a Deinonychus. So you can actually see what this dinosaur looked like this weekend at the Science Center. We'll have her there in our space. You can check her out with paleontology party and everything else going on. But yeah, Hector the Deinonychus was a very complete specimen of this very important dinosaur. Now, that one sucked to see that go. But it's not the end of the world because we've also got dozens and dozens of other Deinonychus specimens that are very beautifully cataloged. The originals are still in Yale. We had most of the dinosaur when we first found that one too. So this one it's not as bad because we can still research on other things. Now, if there's anything unique about Hector that we can't find in it anymore, that's not going to help us in the long run. But from what I read and what I understand about it, it was a very cool-looking Deinonychus, but not really too much special to write home about beyond the fact that there was just more of it.
And
So-
the fact that it was covered in feathers is odd for society to see, I think, because they just don't relate dinosaurs being covered in feathers.
Right.
Even though they're, bird
We want the
descendants.
stereotype.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the beautiful thing about Jurassic Park is that it showed us dinosaurs as being these agile living animals functioning in the way that we would expect animals to do and not big movie monsters. The downside is for the last 30 years, we've been saying, no, it couldn't spit at you. No, it actually had
Yeah.
feathers. No, it could see if you didn't move. And so,
Which
but-
leads me to like a really big question for you, like
Yeah.
us as your friends and people that admire you and love it when you come in here.
appreciate you guys.
Where are you at with like your relationship with Jurassic Park? Like, are you okay with it, or are you just like it'd be better if we
it's
didn't
still my
have-
second favorite movie of all
So
time.
you're in. You're still
yeah,
in.
100%.
Even though the misinformation and the way that they've changed it and added different things, like you're
First
People
favorite
say-
Barbie movie. Because odd.
I went all in on Barbenheimer. I'm not gonna lie.
It was fun. It was fun.
No, so people ask me like if Jurassic Park were real, would I go and visit it? And like, would I pay money to go to this island? It's like, no, I don't think you have to pay when you work there. And like
Right.
if Jurassic Park were real, I would be on that island. Like
Yeah,
I'd
I
be
believe
doing
that.
tours. I'd be doing the same thing I'm doing here now,
Yeah.
and be like, this is.
No matter what, you'd have
No,
to.
I mean all in, man. Absolutely. That's the that would be the childhood dream. And I'm as someone who's checked off a bunch of childhood dreams,
Yeah.
let me tell you,
You're like surrounded by dinos.
I'm
man.
covered in dinos.
You'd have
all
a
the time
pen
anyway.
holder, Barbasol can, everything.
You'd have to have it all.
Everything.
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
It all.
And the next one up on the list I had was Big John, the Triceratops.
Yes.
Now
Was-
that
went
sounds
for-
like it should be in the South, right?
Went for $7 million.
He's
With
over in
rusty
Tampa.
Dino blood.
Is he?
Yes.
Is it Tampa?
Yeah, Big John is on display at the Glazer Museum in Tampa.
So
That's not that far.
the Triceratops, I think it reminds them of a rhinoceros kind of because of the horns.
100%.
But did it have the same reason? Like a rhinoceros has the same
He's
type
got,
of.
he's got everything we ask in the bag. It's crazy.
So was it for like fighting another Triceratops male or something?
So we see that there's a couple of really great ways you can see how these animals lived. All of paleontology is looking at what I find and trying to figure out what I'm looking at and how does it work and what would it do and how these animals live with each other.
I've
So-
always liked their mouths. I always thought they had
Right?
weird. It was like they've got the three. I don't even want to call them horns. 'cause
No, they're horns, yeah.
Okay, so 3 horns, but they still have. And what's so terrifying about this guy is the bird mouth.
Yeah, that big
look
bird
at,
beak.
Look at the bird beak. Like,
okay.
I don't know why that's so scary to me. I think it's because it's 2 curved swords coming
Yeah.
together like a pair of some sort of shears that are meant to like really do some damage, man.
This guy, like
at that.
Triceratops, people sleep on Triceratops, and I'm going to tell you why. Because their beak was like extremely sharp hedge clippers, and their teeth look like Phillips head screwdriver bits,
That sounds horrible.
right? Because their main food item were cycads, which was like if you have sago palms in your yard, like those really big palm trees and things, like
Yeah.
they're so tough, and every time you try to clean them up, they stab you 16 times.
Yeah.
That was like, give me more of that. That was their casual Thursday lunch. Like that's the kind of stuff that they ate all the time.
He's a mega goat.
So he's tough as hell.
They had to be tough. Their jaws were strong to crunch through this stuff and devour them. You can see there's actually several Triceratops skulls on display at the Science Center. And when you come by this weekend, take a look at those teeth because they are wild looking.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, I got a
Phillips
question.
head screwdriver teeth.
So when we
Like the Steven Seagal movie.
when we see
Remember that guy? I think his name was Screwface.
when we see horns on animals,
Yeah.
I think we immediately relate them to like a deer or an elk or a rhinoceros or whatever, and we think of that. Oh, these are horns to fight other male of that species,
Yeah.
so they can
the
mate
most
with the
dominant,
be
yeah.
the most dominant mate with the female. And so because we're thinking of mammals, but then I'm looking at this dinosaur and I see the horns on Triceratops, and I'm like, I go to that, but I'm like, wait a minute,
buddy.
this is a bird. So, and I've never seen birds grow horns to fight off other male species. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
gotta
That's not
be
how
a bird
birds
with a
act.
horn. There's got to be a
So,
horn to
are
birds.
the, what's it for?
So Psittacosaurus that we showed you here
Yeah.
is actually a relative of Triceratops. So these guys are in the same family tree.
And they
Okay.
kind of looked like it based on their
The beak and
the
things
beak,
there.
Yeah.
So
Here,
they're
look at them
close relatives.
Compare their faces; they're almost identical. It's just
Yeah.
one has like this. What do you call the piece behind his
That
head?
we call that the frill.
Yeah, so
the
he's got
protective
the-
frill around the outside, and then Psittacosaurus has these little pointy pieces coming off the side. So we call those the jugals, so like they're extensions of the jaw bones.
Yeah.
And so you can see a
Our
lot
buddy
of those similarities.
EJ's got some huge jugals, ginormous.
And so the structures that animals have in the wild are not there for no reason whatsoever. They're either for feeding or for fighting or for looking good. So like whatever the reasons that they have, those are essential for these animals. Now, in every Triceratops that we found, we know that the horns start off really small, the frill starts off really small, and as the animal grows, they change their shape. So they curve back, and then they start to curve forward as they get older. Their frill gets really wide, and then it gets really thin as they get older. So a lot of it is like, is this something that they do for making sure that there's a really strong competitive male, or do they get really long horns because they're like lions and a pride of things? It's those are the kind of things that we want to keep learning about.
And then it
we-
pulls back as they age, meaning that maybe there wouldn't be a use for it as much anymore. Or...
maybe they need to be really, really strong during their most sexually mature phase.
Sure,
When
yeah.
they're needing to compete for
Correct.
rivals and things like that. And then, is the old lone gunman's like, I don't do this anymore. And he's up there just
I'm
hacking
out of the
wood.
game. I'm out of the game.
Or some birds just, and we have seen this on like Planet Earth and documentaries and stuff, but they have elaborate, like a peacock,
Yeah.
like a huge thing just to attract
Plumage,
mates.
yeah.
and then it's not for any other reason, no fighting or anything. It's just like, hey, I'm going to put on display.
It's my decoration.
So,
100%.
So there could be a possibility the Triceratops had this all for just
for
ornamental
looking good.
reasons. You're right.
Absolutely. And so other relatives of Triceratops, like one of my favorite dinosaurs is a creature called Cosmoceratops. Its horns curve off to the sides. It doesn't have the little nose horn, and it's got 19 horns around its head that all curve down. But it's really gorgeous looking. Like, this is an animal that is like brushing its hair every morning. It's got the big old pompadour because it's trying to look good. This is definitely a decorative, attractive feature that it's trying to. And so you can see this in dozens and dozens of other kind of dinosaurs. Even there's a new one that we found last year called Lokiceratops. Very similar thing. The horns curve backwards, and it's got all these big horns around the outside of the frill because it's made to look good. These are not going to do a head-to-head lock and horns kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not like a ram.
Yeah, they're going to do more of like a Zoolander pose-off.
That's it.
Yeah.
We get Magnum versus Blue Steel.
And last, before you leave, Jimmy, we've got the...
You kicking me out already? Oh, my gosh.
No, we would literally just keep talking to you all day, but then Jeff would be like, hey, guys.
No, it's all right.
I have to do business
I have
here.
work and a whole entire science center to, help.
So what I found interesting is the last fossil on this list of like top 5 most expensive fossils doesn't have a nickname, which I thought would be from the previous ones that they all had some sort of nickname.
Big John or Big Jim or
Gorgosaurus, right? And there's no nickname here, but that sold for $6 million in 2022.
Yeah.
And you've got a Gorgosaurus head with you.
So what I brought with me here is an Albertosaurus.
Oh.
Now, Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus are kind of like they're cousins with each other. So they're similar size, similar shape, and they lived in a similar area.
That guy looks like a dog.
He does a little bit, doesn't he?
He has like a dog head.
Yeah, he's got a really good sniffer on there. He's got a really great sense of smell. So yeah, you're not far off. And those eyes up here at the top are very forward facing. So they use this to kind of track down their prey.
He's got a
They have
good
these little
look.
horns. Actually, it's a relative of T-Rex, but he's got little horns on top of his head here, little horn bosses.
That's dope.
Now, this looks like kind of the size they represented the raptor to be in Jurassic Park, kind of. Like, why didn't they use this instead of a raptor?
Because you got me on that one. I don't know. There's so many cool dinosaurs they could have used them.
That's
I'm
his
happy
greatest
with
fear.
The Velociraptor. Yeah.
We talked about it this morning. His greatest fear is to ask a guest on the show. I'm going to sell you out. To ask a guest on the show a question and then have them go, I don't know how to answer that. It's his greatest fear.
When Michael Crichton was writing the book Jurassic Park, he was actually working with a scientist who found the Deinonychus. We were talking about Hector a minute ago. The scientist who found and named that original dinosaur, he's like, hey, can I look at all your creatures? Because this is the most agile, fastest dinosaur we've ever found. That was the one that told us that dinosaurs could be agile, active creatures. So he's like, hey, how fast are they? How high do they jump? How do they feel about industrial kitchens? All those kind of things. And that's how he created the original villain dinosaur of Jurassic Park was Deinonychus. When they were getting ready to make the movie, they said, hey, we think kids are going to have trouble saying Deinonychus or whatever it is. So we're going to go with Velociraptor because that also sounds scarier. So they turned this awesome, incredible creature into a turkey-sized turkey. And for 30 years, we've been saying, it is, but it's actually this.
So just the name.
Wow.
There's the marketing. It was just some marketing
I did
thing.
not know that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, because that dinosaur looks scary as hell.
Albertosaurus.
That
guy's full name
just look at his side profile of his teeth that
thing
hang
will-
out.
Yeah, man.
And how tall was that dinosaur?
This guy would be about 11 feet tall.
Jesus.
And so this one, its full name is Albertosaurus sarcophagus. It means Alberta's meat-eating lizard, because this was found the same year that Alberta, Canada, was named as a province. And so the guy's like, oh, yeah, we're going to name this after our new province here.
Sarcophagus.
Yeah.
That thing
Big old
would
meaty.
kill you good.
Oh, man. It'll chomp you.
6 times before you hit the ground.
Oh, yeah, man.
Now, again, the Orlando Science Center.
Let's tell everybody how they can be a part of this.
The paleontology party this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and of course, Dinos and Lights going on all December up until January 6th, and it's a perfect holiday weekend to visit the Science Center. Just become a member. That's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, just go and just buy the year membership.
Yeah, because I get
and then
tired
you can
of
go
telling
whenever
people,
you want.
Yeah, if you're a member of all these great things, then when Jeff rolls out something new, there's less thinking involved. You don't have to rush to the internet or anything. You are already a member. More than likely, they're going to throw something in your email box to let you know as members ahead of time.
You're going to get the scoop.
Yeah,
yes.
I always get the scoop. I know even before we have a meeting with Tracy or Jeff, like I get the stuff up because
And
we're
I'm saying,
there.
just take your kids to the Science Center. Stop taking them some trampoline park with balls and everything. They're not learning anything. Like, they'll have just
Way
as
more
much or
fun.
more fun
Way
at
more
the
fun,
Science Center, and they have have other, like that. I've taken my sons since they could walk to the what's the area where
we're lifers.
It's the green, like it's not an obstacle course, but it's
the climber in Kidstown.
the climber and that thing. My sons.
You ever been up to the top?
An hour in there, climb. Yeah, they've been. Yeah, I've climbed in there.
Climbed up there.
That's Climb Time presented by the Isaacs family. That is an awesome time in Kidstown. My kid used to take me in there because the grown-ups can get in there too.
You can
Parents
get in there.
with their kids.
Huge.
My kid would take me up to the top and then ditch me.
Yeah.
And leave me.
And it
leave
can be
me
a
up
little
there.
difficult if you have, let's say, bad hips to get
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And Maisie's like, peace, dude. So, yeah, there you go.
Well, Dino, Jimmy,
Dude,
Jeff,
we love you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeff, we
Thank
love you.
you guys
Happy
so
holidays.
much. Happy
Holidays
holidays
to
to
you
you
as
guys too.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the Science Center.
Yeah, absolutely. We have so much fun with you guys, and thanks for being a part of our show. We
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
having us.
Always a pleasure. See you next time.
OSC.org.
Bye.